Hello there, men, and welcome to the Masculinism Movement channel, a place for men to be men and talk about masculinity and men's issues. I'm your host, Brian Crawl, and today I feel like I gotta say something about female dating advice that they give to us men. And before I start, could I just draw your awareness to the like button there? That really helps me, just so you know. But as for female dating advice, men, never listen to women when they are giving you dating advice. The advice on dating that women give is from a female perspective, which is an opposite experience in dating than what we men have. And they won't do anything to research or try to understand what it is like to date as a man before giving advice to you on it, and will do nothing to taper that advice to you as a man specifically, but instead will either assume or hope that it ought to be the same for a man as it is for a woman. They won't even do so little as to make a fake male dating profile and dating app for a few days and see what it's like for a man online, right? They'd rather just give opinions and act as though it is expertise than to actually gain real expertise by, learning and acquiring knowledge. They have no idea how opposite it is for a man from what it is like to date as a woman. And, they don't want to know. They don't want to admit it, because not only would that mean admitting ignorance and giving bad advice, but it would mean admitting that women live in a passive gender role and that men live in an active one. The truth is that women are passive receivers of men, and men are active initiative takers with women. So women can give advice like, oh, just be yourself, just do you, and date yourself, and just wait and be patient, and the right man will come to you, because men do go after women. But when women give similar advice to a man, if he was to follow it, it would be damning himself to celibacy until he stopped following it and started taking initiative and actually going after women again. And when it comes to women trying to tell a man how to do better with women by instructing them in what women want, especially in what women want in a man, studies have shown that women do not actually want what they say that they want. And if you were to try to take this advice literally and actually do it, you're going to get nowhere with them. This is because women want to say things about the female gender that make it sound good, not things that are actually true if they don't sound good. Plenty of studies have shown that women do not actually date the men who have the characteristics they say they want in a man. So do not take dating advice from women. It is all erroneous and is basically just rhetoric. Like everything that they say, it will have no factual basis whatsoever and will all just be rhetoric meant to make them and women in general sound good and, sound in whatever ways they're trying to make them sound. So do not take dating advice from women. Oftentimes they do not understand how to even give practical advice, right? That is actually helpful. So for instance, one time when I was in Thessaloniki, Greece, I was filming this sex ed video by a monument on how to get laid quickly and easily. And there was this girl who was sitting there listening to me. And she must have been a feminist, because when I was done and I stopped the camera, she said, "I think you've forgotten the most important thing." And I said, "What's that?" And she goes, "To just treat them like a human being, And I'm like, and I looked at her and, she was like a really attractive blonde. And I wanted to say to her, like, look, that's something you can do as a woman and get laid easily. You can get laid by just treating a guy like a human being. Because that's all we really want from you is, the respect and decency that you ought to get as a human being. But as a man, just treating a woman with respect as a, fellow human being is nowhere near enough to get laid. And in fact, if that's all you were to do to try to get laid from a woman, you could be sure you're probably not going to get laid unless you're like a supermodel or something. And that's probably what she's thinking about. She's probably thinking about a supermodel, like, whoever her dream guy is. And all she wants from him is, to be treated with respect and decency, right? But it was like she didn't even try to understand the premise of the video. Even though she had sat there listening to the whole thing, she doesn't understand that getting laid for men is generally difficult, a lengthy process, often expensive, complicated. And so the video was about how to make it quick and easy, something that she takes for granted as she's never had to worry about as a modern hot blonde feminist, because sex for her is always quick and easy when she wants it to be that. It could be however she wants it to be. She could tell the guy to give it to her any way she wants, and guys are just generally going to be like, oh, okay, and she's just doing nothing to try to understand what it's like to try to get laid as a man. And I'm also sure that as a feminist, she was using political rhetoric there as well, and wants to believe and that instead of teaching the men the practical steps to getting laid quickly and easily and how it is actually done, all that should really be taught from her moral perspective is that you should be respecting one another as human beings. And I think this is also due in part to the fact that I learned something when I was a pickup artist / dating instructor, and that is that a lot of women seem to really dislike the idea of guys who wouldn't otherwise be getting laid figuring out some sort of, game hack to get laid with women who, would generally be rejecting them otherwise. They don't like the ideas of men becoming master seducers and players and playboys who would otherwise be incels. And it's so interesting how they shame men who don't get laid and call them incels. But that same man who's being called a creepy perv for staying at home watching porn instead of being on dates with real women, if he learns some game or pickup or seduction or whatever, it is, and actually does get some dating skills and start succeeding with women, those same women who are calling him an incel and a creep are now going to be, calling him a perv or a player or, shaming him in some other way for figuring out how to get laid and how to, do well with women. So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And so what it seems like is that women generally want men to fail with them. They don't want men to be successful with women, which is why they shame them when they are successful with them, right? Just like they shame them when they are unsuccessful with them. But then they also give bad dating advice. When they are not shaming you and they're acting like they're trying to be helpful, they're giving you bad advice that is just setting you up for failure. So do not take dating advice from women. It is like a hunter trying to take hunting advice from a deer or rabbit or whatever it is he is hunting, or a fisherman trying to take advice from the fish he's trying to catch. Because women do not want to be caught or seduced by men who they aren't otherwise interested in. They don't like the idea of a man they aren't attracted to and aren't interested in somehow being able to make them. So that's why I think women do not give good dating advice, and why if a woman is giving you dating advice, you're actually better off doing the opposite of what she says. Because as we know, when women talk about what they want, especially sexually, and studies have shown this, they actually are lying, and what they really want are things that, they won't talk about. Every woman is, basically putting up a front. And again, just saying things that sound nice. So they're not going to tell you how sexual women are, how kinky they are, how dirty they are, stuff like that, what kind of porn they watch. I've been able to find studies on this stuff as a sex educator, and you'd be surprised how the same women who claim to have certain sexual or dating or relationship interests, right, and to have certain things they aren't interested in, will then be proven wrong. And the things that they say they aren't into, they actually are. So if a woman is giving you dating advice and you are trying to succeed with women, you might as well just do the opposite of what she's telling you. Or better yet, you could just take your dating advice from men like me who know what it's like. If you want to learn the truth about what women really want, as well as any other actual science-based dating and relationship and sex advice, be sure to check the links out there below, where you will find additional videos and other resources for you on all of that. But otherwise, that concludes this talk. I hope I mansplained that well enough for you guys out there. And thanks for listening. Be sure to share your own thoughts and opinions by commenting below on any bad female dating advice that you might have taken in the past and what your experiences have been, and if it worked out for you or not. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and share these messages with everyone by sharing the video on social media and talking about these things too. And lastly, again, make sure to check the links in the description for other resources for your masculine personal development and living the life you want to as an independent man. And if you can afford to donate, please do so with the PayPal link below. because your support funds me doing this work and fighting a good fight for men like you. And you can stay tuned for the next video coming out soon, which will be on bad investments. And make sure you're subscribed so you'll be notified when that is. And until then, take care of yourselves, men, because no woman out there is going to.